to order. First is roll call, and I'll just go. We've got Amanda McTusick, John Marr, myself, Carol Carey as chairman, and Laura Robertson and Linda. So the first is the approval of the August 14th meeting minutes because we didn't have a September one. Does anyone have any comments on the August 14th meeting minutes? Okay. Amanda? I have just a couple comments on page 3 on line 111. It just says, this is talking about the great tree hunt. Miss Robertson noted that the tree hunt rules. And I'm thinking it needs more.
Notice the tree hunt rules and or something?
Yeah, line 111. Ms. Robertson noted that the tree hunt rules. Rules, exactly.
That's what she said.
But I think we needed,
What page was that?
Yeah.
it was
I mean, I
page
guess
3.
Ms. Robertson noted the tree hunt rules for.
Noted.
I think that was a abbreviation of noting like that you measure the circumference instead of the diameter.
Well, I don't have it in there yet.
It's line
That was
111.
during our
It was during our discussion of like whether or not, so you know what that was?
What?
It's when we were trying to decide if you had to only submit a tree on your property or if you could submit a tree on someone else's property. And we were discussing the rules
Okay.
because then we decided that you could
What-
do a tree that wasn't on your property, but you had to be respectful of, we put that note to be respectful of private property.
So maybe we just say that we finalize the tree hunt.
Yeah, let's just say that, like the council finalized the tree hunt rules. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we do say on the next line, the hunt will run from August to the end of October. But we,
Did October.
yeah,
Well, that's okay.
but we did, that's okay?
That's okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna say, sorry, wait. The council finalized the
Tree,
tree hunt rules, and then it was noted. Yeah, that'll work.
okay. I think that was everything I had. So can we can't vote on these, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll just say deferred.
Carol, would you mind passing one of those?
Oh, sure. Here you go. Okay, yep. Okay. There were a couple things from the meeting minutes that I just wanted to make sure we carry forward. Things that we said we were going to do. So I don't know if we should bring that up on new business or,
Yeah, I'd say
Okay.
so.
okay, so privilege of the floor, there hasn't been anyone, right?
No, I just looked. We
Okay.
didn't get anybody.
Okay, so maybe we start with just the couple things.
Things that I wanted.
I think it's just like.
Oh, that's me.
I think that's you, Laura.
It is me.
We say on page 4 of the meeting minutes that the highway department agreed to share the list of residents who want street trees so the tree council can do the outreach to the homeowners and help choose the tree to be planted. So I just wanted, did that happen?
It did not, and that's part of what I was talking to you about in the forest. Is that
The first. Yeah.
Amy is the one that was really doing all the outreach to the homeowners when we were doing the plantings.
Yeah.
And so I didn't push the highway department too hard because I was worried that if they were like, okay, you figure out all the trees, not sure that we have enough people right now to figure out all the trees.
Okay.
But they did say that that was a service that they would, like for us to help with them.
Okay, and kind of in the same paragraph, it says at the end, Mr. Zimmerman asked for a summary of next steps, the budget limit, the amount spent in 2022, and the resident request for trees. So I just want to make sure we don't lose that,
Mhm.
that we carry that forward.
Okay, so I will just highlight those sections
Mhm.
for the next meeting and maybe put them as discussion items.
Yeah, and also right before adjournment, Chris asked for an agenda item at the next meeting, which would have been September, which is now us, for member recruitment.
I saw that.
That we suggest we have a job description, contact person, and general qualifications, which kind of makes sense because I think we're getting
Pretty slim.
pretty slim as far as active members. So that's all I have for that.
I'm wondering in terms of the resident requests, there was this discussion a while ago about how they seem to be like a year and a half behind. What's the status of that?
So, they were just working with me on planting the elm trees that came, which we planted in the parks. But as part of that, we had ordered 10 special trees that we had deferred from planting in the spring to planting in the fall. And so they said initially that they were going to take those 10 trees and use them for their planting list. And it sounded to me like that was going to catch them up significantly on their planting list. So it didn't sound like their planting list was extensively long. I just think that they actually haven't planted in a year and a half just because of like just the way that they lost their main tree planting guy. And I just think it's just been crazy busy for them. Because remember last year, we just spent about 100 hours at least doing the Dean Street planting with Schenectady County. And those were the only trees that were planted in the fall. Then this spring, we were supposed to do some plantings, but it was very wet, I think, this spring. And then the summer was terrible for planting. So then we pushed everything to the fall.
So they are planting this fall as well?
Yeah, so I know for a fact that they planted the elm trees. That's why I have it on the but they were, as part of that, also going to get trees from a nursery, the Island Nursery, and plant those as street trees.
It would be good to know, like, if this is catching up the requests, because we do hear feedback that people
Yeah.
have a long wait. So we just
I was talking to a colleague about a month ago, and she said she had heard that the wait just asked for agreement so long.
yeah, that's not good. I mean that.
So like the average time for replanting.
Okay, so I guess the next are discussion items on the first is the planning board referral on the Empire Drive subdivision.
So Carol and I walked this on Tuesday,
Right.
and we flagged a number of trees. This is the subdivision proposal
Hold up there.
with so essentially like two homes on what is right now a very intact, very nice forest.
Mhm.
And the limits of clearing here are kind of square. So Carol and I, we saw this map, knew approximately where we were, and I just marked up essentially what we marked. It's kind of an approximation, but these like blue orange lines are where we kind of marked a series of trees, and they're pretty close to the developer's proposed limits of clearing. It's pretty flat. So what we were hoping is instead of pushing the limits of clearing to here, they could push them, to here and keep this line of trees that we identified. There are some trees in here. There are some big ones that we marked to see if they can get around them. We're hoping that, some of them over here might be able to save. And actually,
Are you pointing somewhere? Laura?
oh yeah, can you not see?
No.
Well, here. You can see it is. You might okay. You might be able to see it better on this one. There's like a limit. There's like clearing limits right here that are proposed to be forested. So some of those trees that we were like, oh, they're kind of right in the middle.
Yeah.
They might actually be able to stay because they're proposing to not clear necessarily between the two houses. So there's
Okay.
some trees between the two houses. So I'm really hopeful that the majority of trees that we flagged can stay. There's a couple right in here that we know it's iffy,
Right.
but we're
Along all
hoping,
the edges are beautiful old trees. There's beautiful old trees throughout the whole property.
yeah.
But along the edges, there are rows of big trees that we're hoping can stay.
Unlike the understory is like witch hazel and ironwood and hawthorn beams. Really, really nice. Yeah. So
Yeah, unlike other ones where it's really you have to bushwhack through, this was really easy to walk through, and it was just a beautiful forest with a lot of old birches and oaks and lupins. So
Where is the site?
we're off of
Um,
Glacier Hill Road.
mhm.
Empire Drive is off
Okay.
of Glacier Hill Road.
Oh.
So the notes that Carol came up with, oops, it didn't quite show, is that it's very important to have. He's not currently showing it cleared, but we wanted to highlight that it's very important to have a no clear boundary on the south of this parcel between, these new houses and the houses on Riesling Road, because that was where there were really large oak trees. Like we think maybe even old growth, possibly because it's the line between Niskayuna and Colony. Really, really big trees. And then we didn't really walk to the right of the proposal because it's not proposed to be cleared. But we also noted that there were many large trees there. So it's very important to keep that no clear boundary on the south side. And on the north side, there were also some big ones in the north. But the main thing that we're really looking at is those blue lines where the trees are, I think it's close to their limits of clearing, but we'd like to keep those trees along the
Yeah.
edges of the limits of clearing.
Yeah.
Mhm. So I know the developer reached out to me and said, what are all the markings?
Okay, so
So
you're
I
identifying
clarified
those
with
are the
them.
ones that you don't
Keep.
cut because
Yes.
usually when you put a big
Yes.
thing around them.
But I didn't get actually any
Important
comments
to
from
make
any.
that distinction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do any of those trees qualify for big tree?
Oh, some of them were pretty big. I don't know if they're bigger than the ones that were submitted, though.
But I'd say they'd be close. They'd be in the running, a couple of them.
Yeah.
There were some type of trees that were no trees.
Yeah.
Listed one type of trees, like there were
Mhm.
no beech trees.
I don't think Niskayuna has a lot of big beech trees, do they?
And then we got some other types that we hadn't listed.
So what our memo was going to say, as long as it sounds okay to you, is preserve as many of the flag trees as possible. Try and respect that kind of line of trees that's very close to the edges of clearing. Leave the understory as much as possible because it's witch hazel, ironwood, hot hornbeam. Noting that it's very important not to clear the boundaries along the property lines because that's where a large majority of the trees are. And you have another note up here which did not get scanned. I can't remember what it is actually. But does that sound about right to you, Carol?
Yeah,
So we'll draft that up and send it to the planning board for their next meeting.
okay.
My note was just that there's little to no invasive species.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so the next one is the 1714 Union.
So
Is anything?
this one is really just an update I wanted to show you. I was like, if you read in our minutes, I think the last we left is they were going to send us back a planting plan. This is a planting plan. You have to look pretty closely at it. Oops. But do you see these little like kind of double squares?
Double square.
Do you see the double squares here?
Yeah, for all that.
He's proposing
Oh,
for
yeah.
those to
Over here.
yes. So he's proposing for those all to be English columnar oak. So he's got 3 that we didn't even ask for.
Okay.
So is the map north is up in the map?
North is up in the map, yes.
And where's
Here's the 4 existing arborvitae that
okay.
Amy said keep or not keep, but we decided if they're healthy, don't get rid of
Yeah.
them. Then he's adding 2 more near the arborvitae
Okay.
because he's narrowing the entrance, which is good. And then he's adding 3 here, which is what Amy had suggested. And then he's adding 2 more in between.
Is this Eastern at the bottom? Where's Eastern?
Union? Yeah.
Oh, Union.
It's the
Okay.
corner
yep,
of
got it, yep.
Union and
Yeah.
Antwerp. Yeah.
I drove by it.
It
So
really needs trees.
it does, it
Yes.
does, but there isn't a lot of planting space there.
No, that's why she was proposing the very small columnar things.
Mhm.
So in total, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is more than we
Wow.
asked.
Okay.
So unless you guys have any objections to that, I think that's pretty good.
No, that's good.
You definitely
good.
just took what Amy had written up from her site walk and put them on the plan.
Okay.
It doesn't look like a green plan, but there's quite a lot of trees there. Each one of those little bobbers is a tree.
Okay.
Okay, so I will forward that one to the planning board.
Okay.
And then,
And then 2239.
so this is the one that Chris walked, and his notes, and he took pictures, was that there was a lot of really big trees, and he didn't bring flags. So we had the surveyor actually mark any of the trees that were over 25 inches in diameter. This kind of gives you a sense when the developer marks the trees. So the ones that are darker black are proposed to stay, and he just marked them around the limits of clearing. And the ones that are lighter gray, they don't think they'll be able to keep. So, if I had this discussion with the planning board because I really wanted to keep a couple on the north of the proposed driveway. If it's a different house plan that goes in and we can keep them, we will. But as proposed, it'd be very hard to keep them like that. We did have them lower the foundation so that they could pull in their limits of clearing so that you were able to save this guy, and this guy. But this tree here is getting like 4 feet of fill. So they don't think that one will
Survive.
survive.
Okay.
That was the best that they could do with that.
Okay.
There's a gray one way off the left. Why is that one not?
Which where?
Yeah, that one way over there.
That one is just a lot label.
Oh, wait, no, let me just relook. Maybe I'm misunderstanding which ones are staying, which ones not. So from the house, you go back to the house, straight to the back of the house, like a row of 3 in a row.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah, so,
That middle one.
no, the one to the left, is that a keeper?
Is that a keeper?
That's a keeper.
Oh, okay.
And is that a keeper?
That's a keeper.
Okay. Those 3 are all keepers.
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys that are kind of faded in here, these guys are not
Oh,
being cut.
those, I see.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
All of those
9.
are not gonna.
I mean, those are big, beautiful trees too.
So they're keeping some of the really big trees right in the middle of the driveway. Like,
No, I tried to get them to keep those. But no, the ones that are not dark black are being proposed to be removed.
And where is the driveway?
Right here.
Okay. Okay. And that one's too close.
Yeah, he originally had those two.
Yeah.
Well, I actually originally had those two as keepers, but the planning board had a pretty long discussion with them. And they were like, if you damage the roots and you put the driveway there and they're leaning towards the house, they really didn't. They're like, if we pull the driveway in, we'll keep them. But
Okay.
if a plan like that happens, that's not, they didn't think that was safe.
Okay.
I thought when we were there before, they were talking about the driveway going almost to McGovern. Is this the one in front of McGovern?
No,
No.
this is the Van Ant.
Different house.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is
okay.
a different house. Yeah.
This is by the research circle when you go on Van Antwerp from the research circle off to the right. If you come from the research circle, so it's in that little area, right? Lily?
Yeah, the hilltop one is supposed to keep the trees by the driveway.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm,
So
so not super great, but as tight as we can make the boundaries.
okay.
You'll probably see something relatively similar to that to the site that you and I walked, where a good portion of the trees are kept, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So did you guys have any questions on that one? The planning board is looking at doing final approval on that.
What is the difference between those dark ones and then there's like three that are a dark circle with a
Yeah.
like a tent in the middle?
Might be species actually. Yeah, I don't know why. They're both just labeled tree to be preserved and tree to be preserved.
Okay.
It may actually be, even though he doesn't have it labeled, there's large white pines and large oaks. My guess is it's probably the difference is probably white pine and oak, but he doesn't have that on the label. Even though they have a different symbol, the dark ones are trees to be preserved and the light ones are trees to be removed. And my guess is the difference is white pine and oak because that's what the big trees are there.
Okay. So we're okay with that? Okay. So next on reports is the Shoprite Plaza Starbucks renovation.
Yeah, so I know that we received comments under privilege of the floor, I'm going to say probably in spring or early summer, about the ash trees. And we had reviewed several different developments that were happening at Shoprite and did a pretty holistic walkthrough of the trees that needed to be replaced. And I just wanted to update you guys that Starbucks was completing its renovation. And, we held the CO until they replaced the trees, although we didn't, have to. They did it anyway. But all those ash trees that were completely dead as you were driving in have been removed and replaced with.
Should we get back to the one
Healthy
resident?
trees?
One was a former.
Yeah, we could.
Okay.
So that took place. Those trees were replanted. It does look quite nice. Starbucks even added an extra tree over on the Starbucks side.
Okay.
So I think 6 new healthy trees over there.
Okay.
And then where we were really going to get a lot of new plantings was with the Chase Bank ATM. So over on the opposite side from Starbucks,
Right.
where there was a lot of dead ash trees that actually got removed but not replanted. And so they, as part of their site plan approval, have to replant 21 trees there. And they're going through their building permit process now with the condition to replant the trees. So I don't know if they'll get planted this fall or this spring, but I think you'll see another batch of 21 trees going in there very soon.
Okay.
So that really just leaves like the side over by like the martial arts and the tequilas. We haven't really addressed the trees over there. And we haven't really addressed the trees in front of Shoprite. But we're going to have 2 big wins over there for.
Okay. Do you want to get back to the resident?
Sure.
Okay.
It takes a while, but it did, and it will get done.
Uh-huh. Okay, good. So the elm planting, you said.
Yeah, so I just confirmed today. They planted so we got 21 elm trees. I think they planted 11 of them at Aqueduct Park, and 10 of them at
11 in Aqueduct.
yes, and 10 of them at the Senior Center Park.
Okay.
Up on Banker Ave
Mhm.
because they had to take down some big oak trees there. So they're small and they have no leaves on them right now because they were bare root transplant. But I checked them today and they do still alive.
Okay.
They don't look incredibly amazing, but I think that's just what happens when you transplant them. The planting job looked pretty good to me, so I'm excited about them. I expect them to leaf out in the spring. I checked on the elms that we planted in Blatnick Park, which we kind of had to replant. If you guys remember, I think both of you guys helped me with that. And I don't think we had a single one die.
Wow.
They're all in really good shape.
No,
So
This was
I
a
don't
tough
know.
summer.
A while back, I was biking down, and one looked like it was leaning pretty far.
oh, really? I checked on them yesterday. I didn't notice that.
I may just from my perspective. I didn't go any check. I was just going
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Over and
I mean, they are on a hill, so it may be that we sort of have to monitor them and tip them up if needed. But I didn't notice that yesterday.
Well, at least they look alive. That's good.
They look great, the Blatnick Park ones. The ones that just got planted, they look a little iffy, but I checked them. I think that's just from them being transported and planted. But I'm very hopeful that they will look very similar to the Blatnick Park ones,
Okay.
in the spring. And so, in Aqueduct Park, we had to lose that big tree because, I don't know, it just declined.
The ash tree.
It wasn't an ash
Oh.
tree. I think it was a box elder.
Okay.
But they just took it down, and so then we really had no trees along that fence.
Right.
So now we just planted a row of elm trees, which
Okay.
hopefully will look really, really cool.
Yeah.
So excited about those. And then again at Aqueduct at the senior center, it was a replacement of a bunch of oak trees that had been taken down.
And they wanted trees there.
They wanted trees.
How big are them?
So
Are they-
they're about 5 to 6 feet tall,
Okay.
but no leaves.
Okay. Right. Well, the senior center is pretty good at taking care of them.
Yeah, so the
Trees.
sassafras trees over there still look really good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
We're
good.
Back to Shoprite Plaza.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a new store, volcano restaurant.
She went through the approvals already, though.
Okay, so we can't get her to do any trees.
I don't think so. I didn't even think about that when she was going through. And then I was just looking at Stewart's because Stewart's is going through, but Stewart's doesn't actually own anything on Shoprite Plaza.
Hmm.
We can ask her.
And what about the Ace Hardware? Did they finish? I mean, we approved their planting plan.
So Ace Hardware did plant. They did take down like the invasive buckthorn and put hydrangeas and stuff underneath it. They put some ginkgos along the edge that look really, really good. The only area that I think was disappointing to me, and if Amy is out there, I think she would also feel the same. You probably would too. Is they were supposed to put like tree lilacs sort of between them and the law office,
Okay.
and there's only like one tree.
Oh, really?
A lot of it looks okay.
Mhm.
That one hillside, they did not. I don't know if maybe they're going to come back or not. The majority of it looks okay.
Uh-huh.
They-
So do we go back and talk to them about what they didn't finish?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to. They took the 2 trees down that
Okay.
they wanted to take down, and they did trim
Prune.
the other ones.
Okay.
And then they did do most of the planting. Just that one hillside, for some reason, it has like one tree. You know, and
Okay.
we had talked about a long line
Line,
of
yeah.
pretty flowering things,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and that's not what's there.
Okay.
Okay, where's the law office? There's the TV station and there's the bank. Where's the law office?
It's between them.
Between,
It's like the Superna Wick.
Yeah, if the daycare's in the back,
yeah,
the law office is in front of the daycare. And then over is the TV station.
okay. So they're kind of connected to the TV station. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, I got you.
They
right.
are connected.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
each-
yeah, okay,
Yes,
yeah,
they
yeah.
I
are.
don't even notice it. It's very, like,
Okay,
I think it's,
But yeah, there's supposed to be a row of
I see, right
lilacs
there.
and
Okay,
falling
yeah, yeah.
trees along that.
So I'll put that as a discussion item to follow up at the next meeting.
Okay.
I saw them planting along there.
Well, is that
Oh,
for
we
us
could
to
do it,
discuss
yeah.
at the next meeting,
Yeah.
or just
Or
to
I can
go
just
back to
follow
them?
up. Maybe I'll just do
Yeah.
it as a
Yeah.
report then.
Because I mean, that's what we had
Yeah,
said.
yes, the majority of it looks like the ginkgos look beautiful.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but one side was forgotten.
And we had talked about that road coming in with the bank. Have we done anything more with that?
No, I think me, you, and Amanda stopped in at the bank that one time, right? And or maybe it was just me, and I got a
I
contact.
stopped in.
You and I stopped in
Yeah,
and got a contact for the maintenance person
right.
who I reached out to multiple times and never got back to me.
Okay. Okay.
But we can try again.
Okay. Because that would look nice. So. Okay. Anything else on the planting? Okay. Public outreach. John, do you want to talk
Okay,
about
so
the great tree hunt?
yeah, so we set up the great tree hunt. We set on the webpage, it said it had to be submitted by October 10th, which was this past week. And by October 10th, we had officially 22 submissions, but 2 of them were double, so 21 submissions.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Could I connect to this?
Yeah, you
A
totally
few
can.
city council members.
I would love to see
Yes.
them. I know. I still want to submit my shagbark hickory.
And many people, including myself, aren't really sure what their tree is. So you guys can help confirm that we get these pictures. So how do I connect here? Is there a plug or I just?
email that I sent you
Uh-huh.
connect into the Google Meet. Just make sure the reason that we had that feedback is because you got to make sure your microphone is turned off and the sound. No, the
Oh, and
microphone
my
on your computer is turned off and the external sound on your computer is turned off. And then you're just able to connect and share your screen.
I did notice that a lot, they didn't know what type of tree it was, so that's going to be,
So-
Google Meet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, just
Oh, the meeting link is here, okay.
What's that big tree in front of Apple?
oh no.
In their front lawn between the bike path and the road, there's this
Big tree?
Oh, yeah,
Big
yeah.
tree.
Huh.
Okay, so
Oh, and you
then
can turn your camera off. too,
We'll
if you
have
want
to,
And then
yeah.
just hit ask to join.
And I keep driving by and saying, "That's a big enough tree, but I don't know what kind of tree.
I'll have to look.
And the problem is in the summer, like at least with ours, there's so many other trees, you know, because it was so tall. It's like you couldn't, without binoculars, you couldn't really.
Whose
See-
leaves are whose?
Yeah, exactly. And I'd have to stand out in the road, which didn't seem really safe.
Entire screen. And then go out.
Right, so
Okay,
then
now you
also-
can show the picture.
Do we have to vote on these like we did with the photo contest?
No, because it's a
No.
measurement.
Yes, it's a,
Okay.
then I'm wondering, then there's a question, so I assume we're gonna check the measurements and decide the winners.
I mean, I feel like the winners won, and also if people don't know what the tree are and they want to know, like maybe we could send that list out to the tree council, and Amy and I or Chris could go out and see if we could figure out what it was.
Yeah, and then there was one that had multiple trunks,
Yeah.
which made it the winner for the silver maple, but I think, or popular one of them, silver maple. And I'm thinking that may be a little bit not fair.
Yeah, so Cal, so you were looking at this, so you.
I
you're well
did.
Prepared here,
Um,
so you probably have them in order.
no, I don't. But I can tell you.
Can you make those pictures bigger?
Yeah, so I can click on this and.
Oh, that's a big tree.
Let's turn sideways. So I can go by tree and look to see what they say.
That tree has a vine.
Sorry?
That tree has quite the vine.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And so this one, they think it's an oak. They say it's 14 feet 5 inches. Now there's 22 of these. Do you want to scroll through all of them, or should we just look at Carol to figure out which ones are the possible winners?
Well, yeah, but like I said,
Yeah.
some of them,
Right.
one just says tree.
Okay.
So-
right, yeah, the Centilla, they didn't know which one that was. It's Centilla's tree, so this is their yard. They don't know what kind of tree that is.
But it's 176 inches.
Is that a locust, maybe?
So I'm not
These-
sure what we're supposed to, what we want to do
Can you
here.
identify that tree?
I'm sure I could go there and identify it. I can't really figure it out from the picture though.
Kind of looks like a locust, but I'm just guessing.
And
Maybe because the leaves look smaller.
Yeah.
And
And
the
it's
bark.
got that high arching canopy.
What would be helpful? And Carol, did you know where people didn't know what the trees were?
well, the problem is we have oak. We have a lot of just
A lot
oaks
of oaks.
and a lot of maples.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if it was a different type of maple, like Kay Batuzik actually said it was a swamp oak. So that's good because it's the only swamp oak that's been entered.
Sister-in-law.
Yeah.
She was very proud of herself.
On our page, on the entries, we just say, these are the type of trees. We just say oak.
Giant maple.
Yeah, because I thought our categories were just going to be maple and oak. Were
Yeah,
we
so-
were we going to break them out even further than that?
We don't have to, but I mean,
There's kind of a big difference between like a silver maple and
and a little red maple.
yeah, red maple.
I have a feeling most of these are silver maples because they're all pretty big.
Yeah.
Um,
So what are the parent winner sizes?
okay, so the biggest oak,
It was this one, I think, the first one. I got. Well, I was just showing you.
Did you
This
leave?
one is 14 feet 5 inches.
Yeah, that's a big tree.
yeah, that's the biggest. The 173 inches.
Yeah.
Yep.
What neighborhood is that in?
That is Baker Avenue in Wyoming.
And then there was the next one was 159 inches.
The next oak.
Yeah, the next oak was. And then my oak was third, I think.
So I did 159.
But we have this unidentified tree from the Santillos.
Right.
So,
Which was really big.
mhm.
Until this one here, it's 14 feet, 8 inches.
Yeah, so 176 inches, whatever it is.
I mean, that's in it's right along the road. What's the neighborhood?
That's Story Avenue.
Story.
In the middle square.
Wonder if we've even got that one. We might even have that one in our street tree inventory.
Well, that's right where Andrea lives. We should ask her.
Yeah, she would be able to identify that one.
Can you scroll through the pictures?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll have to click on each one and then open the picture. But do you want me to see them all?
Yeah, is there a way you can do it like you did with the fall photos where
Yeah, those I transferred them all to PowerPoint.
oh, that's what you
When
did
I
for
started
those?
doing that here. I got a PowerPoint going. I got 12 of them going.
Ooh, can we at least see those?
Yeah, I'll show you these first
Yeah.
12.
Okay.
The-
I haven't rotated the pictures yet, but there's that the first one I'm talking about, the great
Mhm.
oak. And then actually, let me put it back to the slide.
Is that a weeping willow?
There was a willow. Yep.
Yeah. So this one was the willow, 15 feet. 1
That's
inch.
enormous.
That's the only willow submitted, I believe.
I thought there was one.
Look at how tiny the person is.
I know.
And this is the unknown tree.
Yeah, you're right.
And then there's this maple
Mhm.
of 143 inches or 11 feet 11 inches.
Yeah, they think it's a
That's like
silver.
double trunk.
I'm pretty sure that's one of my daughter's best friends. That's
Oh.
definitely a silver maple. That's
Okay.
Toshka.
Mine is also multiple trunks, so I don't know that the 11 feet is legit. It's the only white. Is that a white pine?
Yeah, that's definitely a white pine. I mean, we can discuss it, but I thought that when we were making the rules, Amy brought up the multiple trunks, and we were like, well, we'll just take whatever measurements we get. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the one silver maple.
But this one's a double trunk too, but it's
Uh-huh.
also the only white pine submitted.
Is
White
it
pine
enormous? Is
submitted
that in
white
your
pine
yard?
submitted white- Yes, my backyard.
That's a really big white pine, though.
Yeah, and then it's also lost a lot of branches that live in my yard.
Really?
Yes. Then this is a huge silver maple.
Wow.
17
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah, 204 inches. That's a biggie.
That is-
that?
And that's not split, at the
It's
204 inches. I mean, that's definitely, the split comes
Yeah,
above
for 4
that.
feet, it's still one trunk.
It's
Splits
definitely
further
still
up,
one
yeah.
trunk.
Do the others split above 4 feet or below?
The one splits below 4 feet.
Yeah, and mine that's right about where it splits.
Yeah. I feel like yours looks.
There's-
sister-in-law.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was the swamp oak.
Carol, one of Carol's two submissions.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only.
Don Redwood.
I didn't
I mean,
count
that's a
Redwood.
pretty
Yeah,
big Dawn redwood for
I
here.
planted a Dawn redwood in my yard.
Did
You have one
Good.
too?
I
Is it
just
bigger than this one?
No, I just planted
Oh,
it.
Now this was a big one.
This one's huge. It's 16 feet.
Wow.
Yeah,
Maple.
this was in the Aniskiana Reformed Cemetery.
wow, that's really
And
cool.
this the cemetery superintendent.
So that's a
Yeah.
that property's on the historic register, National Historic Register.
Okay.
So that tree is like truly like a historic tree.
Yeah, he gives a little history.
2 inches tall.
Is that a winner?
I think it is.
Let me see.
That's-
No, that's the other silver maple that we saw was 204. This is 192.
Oh yeah, right.
And then we've got the multiple trunk that's 252.
And that's definitely a silver maple.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the other one. The one with
Yeah.
the
When
Matt
you
Castle.
measure multiple trunks or just before it splits?
Where was it?
It's right before K.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's the winner of the.
No, that's your.
That's your
That's you.
that one.
That one.
Yeah, that one is the winner.
Well, there's a delay.
Oh,
I had it
okay.
here.
It's like done. It's done. Yeah.
Oh, because that's 17 feet.
Mhm.
That's 17 feet. This one is 16.
Oh, they're so cool though.
I know.
Maybe we could do a first and a second place.
Well, I think we should list them all, like on our
Okay,
website.
I definitely think we should do
This
that.
is a fuzzy fiction. Looks like there's a horse.
There could be. That's a farm.
That's 109. Is that a maple? That's 192 inches.
It looks like a silver maple.
Okay, this was.
Possible.
Oh,
Oh.
oak.
Oh, this is a poplar. Okay, so that's the oak. This
This
is,
is the only poplar. I think.
oh, no, there's
No,
one
there's
more.
another one, you're right, yeah.
And the other one is 295 inches.
So that one's not interfering with the silver maples. It's a poplar.
Right. But it's number 2 of
This
the
is-
poplars.
this is the biggest poplar.
That's an oak, 136 inches.
That's a big tree.
And then another oak,
And
right?
that's what I managed to get
Okay.
onto the PowerPoint. Let me get that here. Go to page.
I know, they are fun to see.
That's one we just looked at.
Yeah.
This is the next one.
That is a big tree.
And that's 159 inches, I think. That's
That is 159 inches, yes. And so they say-
On
they say
Heather
it's an oak.
Court.
Oak.
yeah, that's big.
This one is, it says open lowest lane, 9 feet 9 inches.
Yeah, that's
9 to 11 feet.
119 inches.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Okay, the next one's a multiple trunk. That's huge.
Yeah, is that? Look at all this front.
Yeah, so what do you
Yeah, that's
call
not
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he claims that it's 21 feet 4 inches around.
So he just took a measurement and went right around the whole.
thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
See, I'm not sure that really counts.
Yeah, that's-
Looks like it's coming out of the ground. Where
it was him
yours,
standing there, it's hard
Jonathan.
to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
He says that's a cottonwood tree.
No, that's a maple.
Oh, that's
Maple with multiple trunks.
I don't see where the split is,
Yeah,
except in the roots,
right.
Yeah.
where yours was obviously one tree that split.
Yeah, right.
So we're kind of ruling that one out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we
We
can
can
email
just
him
look
and
at
say, can you add them all together? Can you add them all together? How does it work?
Well, that's what he did. He went
Oh, he
around
just
all of
added them all together. He didn't just
Went
take a.
around them.
Yeah, but what if you like measured each one and then added them together?
Well, no, but that's 4 trees.
That's
kind of.
4 trees. Okay.
I mean, we can give it like a
He's so happy.
notable.
Yeah.
Biggest multiple trunk.
right, right, right.
Where's that tree?
That's Pleasant Park Road.
Maybe
I wonder if
right
that's. Do you think that's a street
Yeah.
tree? I'll have to look.
There's a street right there. Or maybe it's next to the street. Oh, you can get it.
Because we do have to get back to these people sometime.
Yeah, because I think, like you say, we should make a list, but then definitely tell the people who had the biggest trees.
Yeah.
Right.
We could tell him he has the biggest multi-trunk tree.
And this one is a
Maple.
silver maple, 178 inches.
And the next one is huge. That's the poplar.
Which is also.
Oh, yeah, right. This one. Yeah,
This one is off of
24 feet,
lot-
7 inches.
Yeah, off of Lock 7 by the water treatment
The
plant.
tree.
Yeah.
That is incredible because that's not split or anything. It doesn't look
No.
it. It's like one.
Oh my gosh! I think we need to give that tree a plaque.
That's
It's
I
fine
know.
and healthy. Have you guys ever seen that tree?
No, I want to go look for it. It's the road that where the bike path crosses the Lock 7 road,
This one,
and there's that water treatment.
yeah.
They said it's between the bike path and the water treatment plant. And he said it's easier to get to from the water treatment plant, right? The
Yeah,
road.
it says it is located just inland from Mohawk River near the back end of the wastewater treatment property off Lock 7 Road. It is accessible from the bike path, but may be easier to get to from the treatment plant road. The circumference is currently 24 road.
So that's the bit. Is that the biggest one, like bar none?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that one to me looks like it could rival some of the ones that like New York State has measured.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Then
that's
we-
a star.
Yes. Then this one, silver maple.
That's 174.
That's a big tree.
Yeah, 14 feet 6 inches.
That's a big tree. There's a lot of 14 footers.
Yeah. Right. So this is okay. This is a maple.
That's definitely a street tree.
And now we the tulip. This is the only tulip tree.
Ooh, wow, that's a big tulip.
Yeah.
And that's 140 inches.
feel like we definitely need to make the PowerPoint and we could put the slides up on our website
Yeah, exactly.
because they're so
exactly.
nice.
And we can categorize them. Here are the oaks. Here are the
This
maples.
is on Grand Boulevard. So you should be able to see this.
I want to go see that tree. I love to.
Yeah.
It looks really healthy too.
Yeah. Okay, two more. And this is, let's see, it's,
Oak. 132
Oh, nice.
inches.
Report.
Mhm.
What was the size?
132 inches.
132.
This is fun.
That guy looks really
Yeah.
Cool.
And the last one is Carol's.
That's the oak.
Yeah, let's see. Oh,
That's an oak too.
Yeah, that's a street tree, I think, or very close to. See,
This
there's
is
the
on
road
this
right
side.
there.
This is like-
Yeah.
this is not-
That's Mohawk? Is that Mohawk?
That's on our property.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Mohawk.
How big is that one?
142 inches.
Is that the biggest oak?
No, it's not the biggest oak. There's 173
Oh.
oak, and
So big.
there's another one, 154 oak.
That's
Oh, and 159 oak. So we're in.
really cool. I feel like people should be so proud of those trees. They're really cool.
So
So yeah, I could put this in PowerPoint, but then you're right. We should email the people. You have the biggest maple. You have the biggest.
Yeah, like
oak.
I can make a certificate.
yeah,
And
But
then I
maybe
think we
we-
should
can we-
definitely put them up on our website and also email blast, don't you think?
an email blast.
Yeah.
I think we should send them so they can see the other trees.
Yes, just like we did with the photo contest.
Right. But
Yeah.
I think we got to figure out what the one tree is
Okay.
that's on the unknown, the Santillo.
Well,
and we kind of pull out that multi-trunk one as a
We can just have him be the winner of the multi-trunk.
multi-trunk maple.
A special mention or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest, but multiple trunk.
Yeah.
A number of them said they weren't sure of the tree type, so it might worth.
But they kind of
checking it.
got that it was like an oak. They didn't know what type, or they have a
Yeah.
maple, but they weren't sure it was a silver.
So I'm thinking.
And there's a willow. Yeah. So we have, we have oak, willow, maple, white pine, swamp oak, Don redwood, poplar, tulip tree. Those are our categories.
Oh,
So
And the poplar is the one that is the largest
Huge.
of the any. I'm gonna go see that tree.
yeah, yeah.
That may be the biggest of them all, anywhere.
Does this one say what kind of tree it is?
Put them on a map and then.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Post
Like
that.
maybe we should submit it to New York State.
Yeah, that's what I was going to look for.
What the biggest
Oak.
one is? Because when I was looking at the New York State ones, I was like, oh no, these trees are enormous.
Right.
But that one tree,
Yes, the poplar is, they think it's a poplar.
yeah, because the leaves are so high up.
Also, I guess it wasn't on their property. They saw it from the bike path or something.
Right. So
Because I feel like with the PowerPoint, we should just say like what it is, maybe like the neighborhood, but not addresses, you know,
Right.
right.
just to protect people's privacy. But it would be helpful if we sent out a list of the addresses so that like, you know, like maybe Linda and I in our lunch hour, we could bike around and try and identify most of them or something, just to double check them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of because some people would like to see them, but you know what I mean. Wouldn't you want to see like?
We can have a,
Yeah.
we can have a, so we could have a list of the largest trees. But you would have to list where they're located. Can we do that without giving someone's
I know.
name?
We could
Just-
How
well,
do they do it in other communities?
I don't know. Maybe we should look at that because
Yeah.
I really think it would be cool to do a slideshow. But I also don't want to like, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just say the street. It's
That's
on
what I was
Grand
just thinking.
Boulevard,
Yeah, so I feel like the street
Yeah.
would be fine.
I mean,
And
now I
it-
realize,
or
mine-
even the block,
uh-huh.
you
yeah, I
know.
realize mine's in my backyard. I don't want people coming. right
No, I
back
know
there.
you
Right.
really don't.
Right.
Then the picture just stands.
Yeah.
I would think the street would be the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really don't think we should put the address.
No, I don't either.
Or even the block. I think that's
Right.
too.
I think that's getting too, you know, if you see a picture and you can drive down the street, you can kind of, I mean, if it's near the street, you could see it, otherwise.
I mean, you'd be able to probably see the top of that white pine from the street, right?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it
you can see,
behind your-
yeah, you can see
Yeah.
that, my wife pine behind
Yeah.
the house.
So if we just put like whatever that street is, people
So
are.
John, do you think you could put it into a
Yeah, yeah.
PowerPoint?
I,
And do you
it,
think you can do it by category here, the oaks? and
Yeah.
Here are the,
it'll-
okay,
And send me the ones that you want me to go check.
tree, the one that says tree.
Well, are there a couple that you want me to go
well, there
check?
were a number that they weren't sure about.
Yeah, just send me those ones.
Okay.
I have to do some neighborhood walkabouts for the comprehensive plan committee, so maybe I can just do both at the same time.
Yeah, because a lot just say oak. But I think that's all we put down.
Right, which is okay. I mean, if I have time, might be able to. But sometimes oaks cross pollinate too. So
Yeah, it was tough with our oak. There were two different oak leaves down on the ground right
Yes.
underneath it. It was a red oak leaf and it was
With
a
a
white oak
white.
leaf. Like,
And then it gets really tough between the red and
Yeah.
the black because they hybridize in our area.
Yeah.
so, but at least we got some. So,
Yeah.
No, I'm really happy with that.
I wish we'd gotten more, but still.
It's the first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and what I'm thinking of is when we get it all set to release to the public and let everybody know who's the winner. We can also say like this was the results of our contest, but if you have a big tree, like send
Oh,
it
yeah.
to us and we'll
Right.
just keep a running list.
And we could, if we're gonna publicize it, ask the winners, would they mind,
Oh, yeah.
you know, being interviewed or
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. We could put quotes from them and stuff.
right, if they don't mind. So
Which I feel like they won't. I think they're very clearly proud of their trees.
I don't know what we're gonna do with the one that's the biggest winner. That who owns that? Because it's kind of
It's got to be the town if that's where it is, or the. I mean, it's funny because the water and sewer department is the town, but it's like almost its own separate government too. But it's essentially the town. Even
but I don't know if this guy who submitted.
I think before submitting it, there would be the winner. Even though
Right.
It's not their tree.
Yes, we would
Yeah.
tell them that the tree that they measured
Was-
was. But sort of the cool thing about that is if it's the town property, I mean, maybe we could even make a little trail to it and actually put a real
Yeah.
plaque on it, right? Because nobody's gonna mind if people visit that if it's on public
Right.
property.
Right.
We
So
should
you'll
go
check
look
that
at
out.
it and
Yeah.
see. But yeah, if
Okay.
that's something that we can really make note of and it's not even in somebody's backyard,
Yeah, yeah.
that might
would
be
neat.
super cool.
Yeah.
Like, come visit this tree. It's enormous. It's like
Uh-huh.
bigger than the trees in
How
Japan.
difficult is it to estimate the age of a big tree like that?
I
Mm,
was trying to look up the-
I don't know. I mean, like, you'd typically core them, but you'd have to get a really big core on a tree like that.
I found the largest tree list, but it's going to take a while to go through.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So Jonathan's going to work a little more on the slides
Mm-hmm.
and send me some trees to identify. And then maybe we could work on a preliminary email blast and then see if we could interview some of the ones that had the biggest trees.
Ooh, ours may be the
I'm
biggest
telling you.
poplar.
That is such a big tree.
There's only 2 poplars listed on this list
Hmm.
from New York. And I don't know what type of poplar we have. Let's see the balsam poplar and the white poplar, and look at it's 174 inches circumference.
Gotta be a white.
And ours is 295.
This is the list from the state.
I think so.
Oh, they have really big sassafras trees. Wonder if it's under cottonwood though.
I'll see if there's like a contact for the state or something.
Wait,
Yeah.
what was ours? I think this is actually what it is. The poplar. They have it under the common name, poplar deltoides.
Oh, ours is 295. We're close.
We're close. I definitely feel like we should send it to the state. But I'm pretty sure that's the poplar.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 295, yeah.
But we should definitely, like you guys, to check it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll go check
yeah.
it.
confirm that it's a poplar.
Right, exactly. And then it's on
And
who owns.
And then it's on the town property.
Yeah.
do
We
the
should-
official measurement.
Yeah, remeasure it because maybe
Because
we did it wrong.
Yeah, if it's more. Yeah.
It would be a
okay.
little embarrassing if we announce this thing and it turns out the measurement's off.
Right, right.
Okay. Okay, so we'll remeasure that one too, just to be safe
Yeah.
Measure and confirm that.
and
Yeah.
confirm
their
cottonwood.
identification.
But that's good that he found it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
super cool.
So
I mean, people walk around noticing trees. Oh, look how big that tree is.
I know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
one on somebody's property
Yeah.
and I'm like, huh.
I wonder.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so that's anything else from our public outreach subcommittee?
Not that we've been working on.
Okay. The other is the tree master plan that we have been working on.
Okay. But since we were doing public outreach,
Oh, okay.
I had that other idea. that
Oh,
you
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
me to
yeah. Why
raise.
don't you, yeah.
So one of the reasons I wanted the tree councils was people keep cutting down. They buy a house and cut down trees, and we're losing trees. But I always thought of Niskayuna as this one thing. It's nice is you have these beautiful trees. While I was at the farmers market during the summer, I ran into Faye Rispoli and had an interesting conversation. And she would love to have information about the trees in Niskayuna because as a real estate agent, this is something that people might find interesting. So my idea is if we have our benefits of trees pamphlets, but I think we should also have something that points out that we're a voted tree city. Niskayuna, that would be something that the real estate agents could
Yeah.
have at the agent. So when people looking at houses in Niskayuna, here's something in Niskayuna. It's a tree city. We have all these beautiful trees. People like moving Niskayuna because of all the trees. So we're more likely to sell it to the houses to people who want to keep the trees rather than cut down the trees.
That's a really good idea.
And I think it kind of helps set kind of a culture that this is a tree.
City.
Yeah.
How do we, I mean, we can't just give them out to realtors, can we? It's, I mean, like
I feel like
they
we can.
asked, but what, how do we?
I feel like we can totally just.
I mean, say here are some pamphlets you might like to have to show people looking houses in
I mean, if
Niskayuna.
they don't want to take them, they don't have to take them. But I mean, the whole point is that we're printing them to get the word out to people.
So we just stop into realtor offices or,
Yeah.
because you said you didn't feel good about putting.
I didn't want to put it in her private mailbox.
Yeah,
So I was doing some canvassing for Michelle Ostrel. I could learn you shouldn't put it in a mailbox. It's illegal.
Oh,
So then I was, okay, well, I better find her office and not get too busy.
good to know.
so did you get the benefits of trees from? Laura?
Yes, I do have a handful of packets of benefit trees.
Okay.
It's still in my car.
Okay,
I picked
And
it
so
up.
it- it's-
Linda gave it.
Well, I'll check the budget. If we can print more, let's print more at the end of the year. Like, you know, whatever budget's open, like let's print a bunch more.
right.
But if you think it's useful to add that we're a tree city on that brochure before we print it,
Yeah.
let's do that too.
Yeah, just anything about Niskayuna.
Because the
that
nice,
we-
and we've got the flag flying out there now too. The Tree
Mm.
City flag's flying.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
didn't-
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
So we
good.
get to take a picture of that.
Yeah, we could take
Yeah.
a picture of that.
Yeah, it's right underneath the American flag, actually.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know we got a flag.
It's on the
for
pole
Tree
of
City.
prominence.
The other thing I'd like to add to our webpage, as I was driving around thinking about our tree city, I remember when I was first looking at Niskayuna, you look down like Myron Street and Old Niskayuna and Regent Street. It's just the streets are just have this, you know, they're
Right.
kind of a lot of trees.
Nice.
We should take all those pictures of all those roads
Yes,
and just
we
have our gallery cycle through
That would
these
be good.
actual.
This would be a good time of
Now
year
is
too.
a really good time
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we should just send an email out to the tree council, like start taking pictures of
Yeah.
trees.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of streets with
Yeah,
Tree
the
line,
with
tree
trees.
line,
Yeah.
yeah.
Plus, we
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to put some in our tree management plan
Yeah.
too.
That's a good
Oh.
idea.
So,
That's a really good idea.
thanks, John. Okay, so the next was the tree master plan. We have been actively working on that. I did send out the goals that we have come up with. I don't know if anybody, Amanda, I saw your comments. The people have looked at them, because our next step is to get with the consultant and try to get it finished up. So we're looking if anybody had any comments about what our goals are that we're putting in that management plan to get back to us.
You're still sharing your.
I know. Should
You can.
oh, I can look and stop sharing. There we go. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, so the high level goals were increase street trees and urban forest canopy cover throughout the town, maintain the health of the town street trees and urban forest canopy, use planning, legislation, and enforcement to integrate the trees more fully into the town of Niskayuna's infrastructure, and increase public awareness outreach of the importance of street trees and urban forests. Like, I think they're really broad, but they encompass really everything that we try to do.
And then under it, the actions to be taken get more specific as to what we're gonna try to do.
Yeah, so increase number, increase health, and increasing health includes increasing diversity. And then, you know, like the planning and the legislation and enforcement, and then public awareness. Like, I feel like it's very complete. I like them a lot.
Okay. And I added stuff on the tree equity.
I saw that.
So,
So with that consensus, then we would reach out to the consultant.
and set up a meeting with
Okay,
him.
so let's do that. That'll be our next step.
Yep. And I think I reached out to Chris to just see how he was doing on tweaking his section.
Okay.
I think we're getting there. So,
Okay.
and then I don't know about the tree planting.
I feel like I mean, we
covered
talked a
that.
lot about
Yeah.
the Shoprite and the Elm Planting. So, and I'll follow up with the highway and have a report to you guys about was or is planted this fall,
Okay.
aside from the elms.
And you had mentioned about our budget for next year that
So yeah, so when the supervisor proposed the budget, I checked it. I'll double check it again now that it's been through its first round, but there were no cuts this year. So 4,500 for new trees, 4,500 for replacement trees, and actually an increase of $1,000 on the miscellaneous.
okay.
So like 11,000 or something on miscellaneous. So last year we fought for
Right.
that level.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're staying even.
We're staying at the level that we had fought for last year.
Okay.
It's still a little bit lower than
We
like
weren't-
4 or 5 years ago,
Right.
but we weren't spending all that money, and we think that the 4,500, if we can get that going and move it forward, then we can start increasing it.
That's the problem, because if it was up to us, we would spend it, but because
In a
it's the
heartbeat, we can
highway
spend it so
department
quickly.
has to plant them, it makes it difficult. So we're kind of out there.
Is there any way to separate our budget from the other budgets?
I mean, the tree council may be able to. I mean, I use the planning budget to support the tree council. You know, like CAC has a line in the budget of like $100. The tree council could probably get a small budget for itself if it really needed to execute. Although I feel like we don't typically need any more money than I have. But the tree planting and stuff probably couldn't ever get moved away from, because I had that internal meeting with the superintendent of highways and the chairman of his committee, you know, on what could be moved from the highway and what couldn't. And that definitely seemed like it had to stay with the highway, but they were willing to have us, you know, help with the plantings and stuff like that.
That reminded me, somewhere we had talked about that we were gonna approach the highway department about a watering truck
Yeah, I saw that.
in here.
And then someone else was talking to their neighbor about a watering. I mean, I actually just heard that.
Well,
We
we're
were
not-
talking to someone at the farmer's.
yeah.
Oh,
when
that's
we were
what it
at the
was.
Farmer's
Okay.
market, somebody from, who's on the Rotary here in
Yes.
Niskayuna, but lives in another town.
Mr. Hitchcock.
I think that was his name.
Yeah.
You know, we were thinking, could we share a watering truck with a neighboring community? You know, we're just trying to think of options,
Mhm.
especially like this past summer where we could have really used it.
We really need.
So,
I think we lost some of the hackberry trees that we planted in Blatnick Park because they were just too hard to water.
and you said along Zenner, the one that the Lions Department planted, they lost a lot of those.
So interestingly, I thought that they were all dead, but we had all of that rain, and a majority of them resprouted leaves.
Okay.
So actually, if you go down there now, every single tree has at least some leaves. But
Okay.
I'll be interested to see what they look like in the spring.
Mhm.
But they almost did a dormant period over the summer and then resprouted leaves when we started to get the rain again, which I have never seen a tree do, and they all did it.
Well, that's good. They were obviously stressed.
They were very stressed.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of the equivalent is, the spongy moss got all defoliated and then they respreaded their leaves.
Mhm.
I suppose it's possible,
Yeah,
but those trees now have leaves on them
good.
and they look a lot better.
Okay.
So they definitely needed water.
Okay. But yeah, if we could think of, options for a watering truck. if
We
it-
have that in our actions to be taken.
Mhm.
We should add that in there if it isn't.
We do. We
We
have
do,
it in our
okay.
actions to be taken, so.
'Cause
Okay, and
we
then-
might be able to point to that too. Like, we put it in our master plan. Now let's really go for it.
yeah. And then we should be thinking about new members. So with that, I think we can, does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Can I ask about the spongy moss?
Oh, sure.
So when do we have these, at some point in this fall, right?
Oh,
we knocking
yeah.
on
I
the-
did
the-
get it in the newsletter that's going to come out soon, but I think we should do a separate spongy moss email blast as well.
Yeah, and I think I sent you one.
Yeah, so what you sent me is in the newsletter.
Oh, okay,
But essentially, we can just use that one on an email blast as well.
okay. And
Because
maybe
it
we
had
can
a
put it up
picture.
on
You
our
even had
website,
a
too.
nice picture
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
eggs in it.
Oh, yeah, that was from one of our
Yeah.
trees, yeah.
But I mean, I haven't been seeing the nests. Are they out there yet?
So weirdly, I mean, we said wait until the fall, but like a lot of mine are gone. Like, does something eat them? I have no idea.
I saw mine more like in August when I sent you.
I
that,
know. I don't have as many in my yard. I don't know what happened to them.
so
But I
don't
still think
know.
we
I
should
had
send
two
them.
trees that I noticed in this sometime in the summer, and my moss were falling down on me as I was dealing. So okay, but I don't see any nests in them.
You know
They're
what they look
pretty
like, right?
I
obvious.
assume like they're white.
No.
cottony.
No, they're
no,
orange.
No, oh, I'm looking
Brown,
for the wrong thing.
brownie orange. So
It's not like a webby.
It's not like that.
No.
Oh, okay, that's what I was looking for.
you know what I noticed though, because I was very proud of my shagbark hickory, which is not in your, but I really do want you to put it in the slides. It's a really, really nice tree. Is that they don't get particularly defoliated, but I had a lot of nests on my oak trees that have like
Just
smoother
like
bark
over
that aren't gone. But if I look at my shagbark
Oh.
hickories and I look under where the bark's peeling, I can still find nests
Uh-huh.
of eggs. But they like tuck them under where the shagbark peels.
Mm.
So like it seems like the ones that were more exposed, I don't know what happened to them. Like maybe something ate them or maybe they fell off the tree. But the ones that are like tucked into the bark, I can still find them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're a little late on sending this out, but I guess,
Yes, I think so too.
because like I said, oh, there's another one that could see them in August a lot. And that's what we were scraping
So
on.
I feel like if we still have an infestation next time, we should send it out in August.
Maybe I did see this. They
We
almost
had
look
said
like
we were going to
mushrooms.
wait until the
Uh-huh.
fall, but I
Yeah.
think
Well,
they
see,
are
that's the
hard.
moth, and then that's the brown stuff.
Oh, that's the moth on top of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'll do, Carol, is I'll take a picture of one of the nests in
Yeah.
the bark of my shagbark hickory
Okay.
so you can kind of see that too.
Yeah, so it leaves this brown stuff. And
Yeah.
then that's the
But
moth.
we're not going to be seeing the moss. We're going to see the brown thing in the tree.
Yeah, sometimes it's orangey
And it
brown.
looks like it's just right in the trunk in your pictures.
They can
Yeah,
also even be
yeah.
on like your sheds. Like they
Oh,
were
really?
on like the bottom of my shed. They
Ah.
they really like put them anywhere.
Mhm.
I mean,
I put
firewood.
That tape around the tree, when the moths were around.
Yeah.
And when we took the tape off, they had like,
Put the nest underneath the.
yeah, they
Mhm.
had like gotten stuck in there and they had nested in
Wow.
where the tape was. And there was like all these little white dots, like white eggs or white dots.
Mm.
Huh.
Like in a circle.
Well, that's what they're doing with the hickories. Is they're getting in where it's like safe and putting the egg sacs there,
Yeah.
which is gonna be hard to scrape off.
So you're gonna send that out, so at least we. Even though it's a little.
Yeah, because we said we would. So let's
Yeah.
send it out even if it's late, and then next year, if we still have a problem, we'll do it better timing.
Okay. Okay. Somebody wanna make a motion?
I make a motion
Okay.
to
Adjourn?
to adjourn. That's right.
I'll second.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for
Okay.
coming tonight.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, and I did tell Laura this, after this year, I'm not gonna be chairman.
Hmm.
So if anybody is interested.
You could
I've
become
been it
chairperson instead.
Yeah, so it's been a few years now, so.